Can I just begin by asking a question of anyone on the panel on a subject that, despite the wide-ranging session so far, has not come up? What do you all make of recent events with Facebook's foray into cryptocurrency? And what considerations is the bank making of this innovation?
Do you want to start?
Yeah. I'll start. So this is the bank and the Financial Policy Committee is taking this very seriously. And we have promulgated some principles that we believe should lie behind the regulation of something like this. I think LIBRA has a couple of interesting challenges there. One is that it's international, and two is it's by Facebook, so it could scale up very, very rapidly and become systemic. Therefore, it is a concern for the Financial Policy Committee. And we have enunciated several principles we think should guide the bank and the other regulators in looking at this. They need to look at the systemic issues and make sure that they have visibility into all parts of the system from beginning to end, from the payer to the payee and all the little pieces in between, and make sure that they have the data and the information and make sure that it's all viable and resilient. There are a lot of challenges here. There's crypto challenges, there's anti-money laundering challenges, and keeping criminal activity at bay. There's protection of consumers. Do the consumers know what they're getting? There is this is called stable coin. Is it really stable, and how stable will it be, and do people understand that?
Yeah. Can I just ask you a question? Yeah. This committee has previously done an investigation into cryptocurrency, and we found the potential for the door opening to many of the risks that you've just articulated. Isn't it a legitimate question of policymakers to ask Facebook, why are you bothering? Like, why is this for you?
Well, I think, let me say a couple of things. One is that, first thing is that in terms of how this will proceed or not going forward, and we've said this a few times, but I want to reiterate it, this will not be like social media. This will not be a case where something gets up and starts running and then the system tries to figure out after the fact how it's going to regulate it. It's either going to be regulated properly, overseen properly, or it's not going to happen. And that's the view of this committee. It's the view of the Bank of England. I believe it's the view of the G7, will be the view of the G20, and including the Financial Stability Board. And we'll crystallize those views over the course of this week. But having had enough analysis and looked at it, I'm confident in that statement. The second thing is that we have an ability to regulate it. It's not perfectly aligned because it's something new, but partly under the payments legislation, to the extent to which it's money, we have a regulatory attachment point, but we also have influence, as does the FCA, to other parts of the financial system that would be connected to this as a system, which goes to Dr. Cohn's first point about the system as a whole. But let's go to the why are you bothering, and I want to flip that around, which is why should we bother? Okay, you got globally you have substantial financial exclusion, people who are not part of the formal financial system. You have very expensive cross-border payments for most individuals. There are improvements in that, but most people pay far too much to send money across borders. It's money out of their pocket, and it undercuts the competitiveness of businesses, particularly small businesses. And then domestically, I think we have to face up that on one level we have a quite convenient payment system in this country, and debit is increasingly is the payment of choice, and it's easy to tap and it's easy to go online, but it's expensive. It costs 50 to 200 basis points for those transactions. It can take the business up to 3 days to get the money. That's not good enough in this day and age. Those payments should be instantaneous. It should be the same as us exchanging a banknote online. It should be instantaneous, it should be virtually costless, and it should be 100% resilient. Now, there are different ways to solve that, but the challenge, and this is the UK, the challenge is to bring online payments and other payments up to a standard that is found in a number of major emerging economies and a few advanced economies.
Sounds like the subject of a future Treasury Select Committee inquiry.
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
moving on.